think I was at a startup as we just talked about before joining Salesforce, and I think Salesforce moves at a similar pace. It's got this startup like mentality and pace, and I do think a large part of that is the V2MOM actually, which values methods, obstacles, and metrics.
Okay.
Very simple. You could have a 5-minute conversation about a V2MOM with, we could sort of talk about it in the context of you, maybe as an individual, or we use it as a way to set our company strategy each year, and then we refresh it generally quarterly.
Okay.
And so what that does is, Mark Benioff sets that at a CEO level, and then it translates down to every part of the company. So he'll set it, say for argument's sake, on the 1st of February, and then by the 3rd week of February, every single person in the company has an updated V2MOM that aligns to Mark's, but is meaningful to their role and their impact on their customers and their company. And I think that's been a huge part of our agility. It governs how we invest, it governs how we make decisions, it governs what we think, or exposes what we think the obstacles are, and then therefore how we mitigate them. And it's just a very simple strategic framework that's very effective.
VP of Solution Engineering on AI.
Yep.
Does AI mean Agentforce at Salesforce, or it's broader than that?
AI is broader than that. Salesforce has been innovating in AI for quite a while, with predictive AI that started in our Einstein product, as I'm sure you're aware of. And more recently, in the last sort of 4 or so years, with generative AI built into our platform, and then Agentforce was released. I think it was October last year, into the market, and so that's really our agentic platform that brings everything together, like predictive and generative, into these software agents that can also understand natural language and then take action as well.
Would you recommend Salesforce consultant to also do some certification that are project management related to succeed?
I think yes. The short answer is yes, because you're either part of a broader team and you need to appreciate the skill set, craft, and experience that goes into shaping and leading a project, and respect for the role that does that, i.e. the project manager or the product owner, depending on the structure. Or you are part of a much smaller team and you're actually having to do a lot of that role yourself. And so I think either way, having some project management experience, certifications, and knowledge is actually quite critical. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to that. I do think now is an incredible time to be at Salesforce, though. And I've been here been at Salesforce almost 10 years. And it's been incredible for all of those 10 years, but the last 3 have been, I think, really exciting. Obviously, Agentforce is our kind of flagship product in helping customers kind of build agents that will help them scale their business, and that's super exciting. So I think now is the right time to join, and I think we have roles of different seniorities throughout the business, different types of roles. We've got a very big professional services team. We've got huge number of account executives that help us that helps position the product in the market, and then we've got solution engineering, which help customers kind of go through that that process of deciding what and how to buy Salesforce.
How your first opportunity to lead a team happened?
It wasn't something I applied for. I mean, it was around sort of mid 2000s, and it really came about because I think other leaders saw maybe potential in me doing it, and I was also interested in it, and so I just kind of ended up doing it, I suppose. But I do think some people, when I'm coaching some people that want to be leaders, often it does happen in that kind of organic way where what's the saying, everyone's a leader, no matter whether you're a leader or not. And that is kind of true. Like how you show up in almost any area that you're kind of working in really kind of allows you to demonstrate like those kinds of leadership qualities, and then we'll put you in a good place when leadership positions kind of come up, informal or formal. And so that's kind of really how I ended up stumbling into it, I'd say. So
how do you pick like people that are joining the team?
That's a good question. I mean, I think the hiring profile does depend on what you're trying to build specifically in that team, because you often, with the way we think about it, is like what's the capability we're trying to build in the team, and then what kind of hiring profile do we need to kind of fit that capability. But right now in many of the teams, what we're looking for are people that can be kind of quite hands-on with AI and Agentforce, and help customers bring their vision to life on the platform. So like kind of hands-on, building agents, configuring agents, using data cloud, as you mentioned before. but also solution engineers that are fantastic with humans, good communicators, empathy, really passionate about helping a customer kind of do what they need to do. Build trust as well, because back to that kind of confidence building, like our job is to get a customer to a level of confidence where they can make a decision, that whether that decision is to kind of move ahead or not, but like a large part of that is trust. So we're looking for people that can build trust, that are technical, that understand business, that are adaptable, because everything's changing quite fast right now.
Hello everyone, today I'm with Jonathan Hatcher from Salesforce. Jonathan, that is the VP Solution Engineering for Artificial Intelligence at Salesforce. So thank you so much for being here, Jonathan. You are actually like the first person from Salesforce that is joining the podcast. So
I'm honored.
It's such a pleasure to have you.
Privilege mine.
For those who don't know you already, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. I'm not sure which camera to look at actually, but my name's Jonathan Hatcher. I lead solution engineering team for Australia for Salesforce. So I've got a team of about 80 or so industry experts, Salesforce experts, and AI experts.
So, wow, and this is like the topic at the moment. So it must be so interesting to be part of like the journey of artificial intelligence. I saw that you study computer science in Portsmouth back in the UK.
Back in the UK, that's right. Yeah.
Did you know that you will work in AI at Salesforce back then when you were studying?
That's a great question. I started or finished studying actually in the year 2000. So it was only a year after Salesforce was created. So I think I would have had to be some sort of genius to think that far ahead. But I did do a computer science degree. I was a pretty nerdy kid. I learned to program when I was in the mid 90s. And I just loved crafting and building products and tech. And so in some ways it's not a surprise that I'm in a role that's got a very strong technology and product focus. I've always enjoyed the tech. I've always kind of had that at the core of what I do, including from when I was a kid. So
do you think, what was the first language of programmation that you learned?
That's a really good question. I actually think it was C. So I can't remember why exactly. Oh, actually, I do. I was interested in medicine as a kid, and I wanted to be a doctor. And I was learning C to write a program to teach me about something to do with medicine. And then I realized I actually enjoyed creating products and like programming actually instead of learning the medicine bit. So so that's kind of how I got into it. And then I just kind of progressed from there, and lots of web tech and all sorts of things like that. So.
And I saw so after your study, you worked 10 years for IBM. What did you learn the most over there in this journey?
So I joined IBM in 2000 actually, and I left in about 2011. So I did almost 11 years there. I did lots of different roles. I worked in their product teams, in their technology teams. I was a programmer and a software engineer, but very quickly I actually got quite interested in leading teams. And I was simply attracted more to the sort of, I guess, the problem domain of getting teams to work and getting teams kind of really high performing than I was on the technical side. But IBM's an incredible company. They, we worked on some very, very big transformation projects, and it really taught me how delivery works, like how you get big change into customers. And so now on the flip side in Salesforce and in my roles in Salesforce over the last almost 10 years, that learning has been really important as we go through kind of big ambitious changes for our customers. So
that must be very impressive. And I saw that you had like some of your certification that were related to project management. And I think this will be a good advice for the Salesforce consultant. Would you recommend Salesforce consultant to also do some certification that are project management related to succeed?
I think yes. Short answer is yes, because you're either part of a broader team and you need to appreciate the skill set, craft, and experience that goes into shaping and leading a project, and respect for the role that does that, i.e. the project manager or the product owner, depending on the structure. Or you are part of a much, much smaller team and you're actually having to do a lot of that role yourself. And so I think either way, having some project management experience, certifications, and knowledge is actually quite critical.
Yeah. I think something that I can observe is like, for example, Jira, that is a tool. Like if you know how to use Jira, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like you will be probably onboarded easily and faster on the project.
Yeah.
Don't you think like there is tool outside of succeeding in Salesforce that can be interesting to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I think Jira is a great tool. And I agree. I mean, there's lots of tools, to do a successful Salesforce project and implementation. You need lots of tools around that as well. But obviously Salesforce being the key one in that. But.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so across like 10 years at IBM was back in the UK. Mm-hmm. Did you move after that to Australia or?
Yes, I was doing a very big piece of work for IBM at the time in what was called intelligent transport. So think congestion charging systems for cities like Sydney or Singapore or London. So I was out in Brisbane doing some work there, and I just fell in love with the country, as many of us do from other countries. And I decided to say, okay, well, I'm gonna find a way to kind of work here. And so I looked at different options, whether that's with IBM and others. But it kind of coincided with a point in my career where I wanted to get a lot more kind of, I guess, not control, but accountability for like running and growing a part of a business. And I kind of recognized that I needed to probably go somewhere a bit smaller to do that. So, Yeah,
and this is the interesting part that I've read. Like the company, this company, what was the name of
Oakton,
it?
Oakton Consulting,
was smaller than IBM. What would you say you have learned more over there?
Yeah, I mean, probably the most obvious one was, when you go into a customer as part of a big brand, where, IBM is obviously probably one of the largest, there's a certain amount of kind of credibility that comes with that. And when you go in with a much smaller brand or a more unknown brand, you have to sort of fight for, and extreme example of that is if you're an independent contractor and you're your own person. But, you've really got to kind of, sell the value proposition of why this company should do the work, and your brand doesn't precede you, and so the selling conversation really changes quite a lot. That was immediately obvious to me that there's a huge difference in how you enter those conversations.
So what would you say is very key as a non-existing brand, like well-known brand to succeed?
Sorry, could you ask that again? Sorry.
So what key element is important to succeed as a not well-known brand like IBM or Salesforce?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think, particularly if you're an individual or a small team, it's the credibility of your experience and how you're showing up in that conversation is actually probably one of the most important things. So, very succinctly explaining to that kind of customer or in the context of that engagement, why your skills are kind of relevant with the experience you bring to it, and so you can't rely so much on the broader brand behind you. And so it really becomes about how you and the team are showing up in that specific situation, and so you have to really sharpen that kind of narrative.
And I guess like this key element to succeed must change with our society as well, because for example now we see like the social media like LinkedIn, YouTube that are exploding. But maybe back in the year 2000, it was a different way.
That's right. There was probably no. Well, there was LinkedIn, but there wasn't as much of it then. So that's right.
Well, that must be very interesting. And how about referral? Do you think it's key as well, like to succeed?
Yes. Short answer. Absolutely. I think any buying decision that a customer is going to make, whether that's consulting or software or whatever else it is, especially when you get to a more senior level, they're always going to go to their soft network and kind of check on that individual or on that company or on that product. So you want to make sure that kind of voice that is heard when you're not in the room is one that's positive. So yes, it is very important.
That's interesting. And so even back in Sydney, so even at your first work experience at IBM was already like consulting related. So all your career was like pure focus on that? Yeah,
I'd say either building products, managing teams to do that, or consulting, and a mixture of those three things. So I think, the role I'm doing in Salesforce now is maybe a little different to that, but generally those three things. So
Okay. Wow. And so, how did you add how your first opportunity to lead a team happen?
That's a really good question. I think, like it wasn't something I applied for. I mean, it was around sort of mid 2000s, and it really came about because I think other leaders saw maybe potential in me doing it, and I was also interested in it, and so I just kind of ended up doing it, I suppose. It was part of a much bigger piece of work that I was doing in IBM, and so it kind of organically happened, really, through a mixture of my interest and I think maybe some kind of capability I'd shown. But yeah, I do think some people, when I'm coaching some people that want to be leaders, often it does happen in that kind of organic way where what's the saying, everyone's a leader no matter whether you're a leader or not, and that is kind of true. Like how you show up in almost any area that you're kind of working in really kind of allows you to demonstrate like those kinds of leadership qualities, and then we'll put you in a good place when leadership positions kind of come up, informal or formal. And so that's kind of really how I ended up stumbling into it, I'd say. So
I understand. So it's basically like being ready until the day comes.
That's right, and building the muscle, like connecting with or spending time with leaders that you respect and other people respect, and sort of like working out what they do exactly. And leadership's a challenging one because it's not a I mean, obviously you do lots of courses, and the courses help a lot. But it's also very experiential. Like you really have to spend time doing it. You have to spend time learning. You have to be quite introspective around what's holding you back to be better.
So you an interesting part is that you still learn at Salesforce as of today. Like and I think if we are working in the ecosystem, it seems like something totally almost normal, but in fact not at all, right? Like learning is not given to everyone, and also being like with an organization that proactively push content to learn is quite interesting. So I saw like you did like the Agentforce badge.
Legend, that's right. On Friday I finished it. Yes.
Is it what would you say was like how well this program is built? What are the main quality that you can find in this program?
I think it's very timely that I actually did that on Friday, so you can actually mention it. So thank you for mentioning it, 'cause it took a lot of work. I mean, let me start with I think one of the things I love, there's many things I love about Salesforce. One of the things I love is that we have Trailhead. And I know you're familiar with it because you're in the Salesforce ecosystem, but for others that may not be, Trailhead is our free online learning platform, and it has thousands of courses related to Salesforce and not related to Salesforce. So for example, you can go on there and learn all about Agentforce, which is our agentic AI system that's built on top of the Salesforce platform. But you can also go in there and learn about AI more broadly. And there are sort of we have these Agent Blazer series of certifications, and the pinnacle of that, the hardest one, is Agent Blazer Legend, and that's what I finished on Friday. And what's really cool though about it is, yes, there are modules that you follow and you learn, and then you do quizzes at the end, all the rest of it. But the thing that is really differentiating, I think, is that particularly for these Agent Blazer ones on Trailhead, you can get really hands-on with the actual product, and so you as part of the module, it spins up a developer environment for you that you then go in and actually change. You're deploying Apex code, you're doing all of this stuff, you're deploying agents, you're configuring agents, you're using Slack agents, and so the hands-on piece is like super exciting. And so that last one took me about 20 hours,
which is a lot.
And my role is obviously not to do certifications, but I did it for a few reasons. One is to make sure that I'm always on the forefront of technology, and particularly Agentforce in Salesforce. But it's also setting an example for my team, and for customers and for partners. It's an important certification to kind of learn about the platform. And so I really wanted to set the example by kind of getting it done as soon as I could. So
I think it's rare actually that to have leaders that continue to follow certification and training. And I also saw that you did a certification or a course outside of Salesforce that was about gender equality recently.
Yeah, that's right.
Could you tell us what are the key learning from that, or what are the positive aspects of it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember back now to that particular course, because I think I've done a couple of those. But I remember there was one particular one that I did a few years ago. I think it was at the tail end of COVID, and we were still, everyone was still kind of remote.
Yeah.
So it was one I did at home. I seem to remember that for some reason. And what I really valued about that course was number one, there were like people and companies there. So it was Salesforce was on the course, but also there were other companies as well.
Okay.
And so we got a real diversity of experience from across different sizes of companies, different industries.
Yeah.
And that was really, really valuable to have these kind of facilitated discussions around, how to show up as leaders in this way, in this new way. And so that was cool, the diversity. Second was actually just to kind of have the space to really think about how, particularly as a male leader, you show up and create an environment for females to thrive.
Okay.
And so that was that was super valuable. It was a really, really great course.
Yeah, that's a very interesting like I think it's come back to learning outside of like the Salesforce core technical capability with like project management and like the other course that you mentioned. But before like working at Salesforce, you were working at Nayer?
Oh, Neighbor, yeah, that's right, yeah.
How did you like? Was it a similar experience than like the smaller consulting firm after IBM?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I kind of went from IBM, which was 400,000 people, to the Oakton Consulting, which was maybe 1,000, so a lot smaller. And then after Oakton, I decided I wanted to go smaller again, and I joined a really sort of close friend and colleague of mine from the UK that I'd worked with in IBM.
Okay.
He was the COO, and there were only about 10 or 15 people in the startup at that point.
Yeah.
And again, I wanted to do that because I really wanted to get experience of like what what's it like to kind of really kind of be part of a scale up at that stage, like a really small company, like a
0 to 1.
0 to 1, exactly, yeah. And it was super exciting, and we scaled it to 150 or so people in a couple of years. So I sort of saw that growth. But the really cool thing about it was, and this is about 10 or 11 years ago, this is how I got into Salesforce. Was because we ran the whole loan platform and including origination and customer servicing on Salesforce. And so that was my first introduction to Salesforce. And the thing that was really interesting to me was we were running the same technology stack as a company in New Zealand that was running $1 billion loan book. And our loan book was $500,000. Like, it was tiny, but we were running the same technology. And at the time I was like, I'd come from a world of custom development and building everything from scratch. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. Like, you can actually scale. By buying software in the cloud and gaining access to this incredible pre-configured but still configurable environment. And so that just blew my mind at the time. And that's kind of how I learned about it.
So also, when is the right time to join Salesforce?
When is the right time? Now, of course. How do you mean?
What I mean is that like we see different type of profile, or like from my opinion is like either you start like very fresh as like university graduate and you build your career at Salesforce with time, or you do your own experience outside like in external company, and then in the future you join at maybe more as you did in a way. What is your recommendation or your view on that?
That's a good question. I think either. I mean, I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to that. I do think now is an incredible time to be at Salesforce, though. And I've been here been at Salesforce almost 10 years. And it's been incredible for all of those 10 years. But the last 3 have been, I think, really exciting. Obviously, Agentforce is our kind of, flagship product in, helping customers kind of build agents that will help them scale their business, and that's super exciting. So I think now is the right time to join. And I think we have roles of different seniorities throughout the business, different types of roles. We've got a very big professional services team. We've got huge number of account executives that help us that help us position the product in the market, and then we've got solution engineering, which help customers kind of go through that that process of deciding, what and how to buy Salesforce. So.
And you started your journey at Salesforce with Marketing Cloud, actually.
I did, yeah.
Was it which Marketing Cloud? Was it engagement or account engagement?
We had built, so it was B2C. So it was, we'd bought, when I joined, we'd bought
Exact Target
about a year before that.
Okay.
So it was very much Salesforce Marketing Cloud,
Okay.
Yep.
So how did you get familiar with the platform at first?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as you. There's probably a pattern here, right? Like I got hands-on with it. I did the certifications at the time, and played around with Journey Builder and data extensions. And I think that's the only way, especially if you're part of a software company, you have to learn the product. It's sort of just mandatory, and learn how it works and where it fits into a customer's architecture as they're making those kind of buying decisions, and the kind of value that it can deliver to customers. I think that you only really get that by I would say, well, two things. One is getting on the tools. The second is getting under the covers of customer stories.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that makes sense. And so like the first experience at Salesforce was to in delivery. Mm-hmm. Was it with Salesforce Professional Services?
That's right.
So your journey was to implement as best as possible Marketing Cloud engagement for customer.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So do you have like a fun anecdote about that?
Oh, that's a good question. You put him on the spot here with my knowledge of a few years ago. A fun anecdote. I don't know if I do have any fun anecdotes. I'm sorry. I'm not sure I do actually. Yeah.
Or like, how did you? Because here again, like the way I understand it, after I'm not sure, but is that it's almost like running a small Salesforce practice within Salesforce.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And how did you grow this Salesforce practice? Or like, did people join, or like, how did you grow the team?
Yeah. And so I was part of a broader leadership team running the Marketing Cloud Services business, and we had different functions within it. But one of the things we did learn very quickly was so in the Salesforce ecosystem, we've got professional services. We obviously have then lots of incredible partners out there as well. So they could be individual contractors or big partners or niche partners. The partner ecosystem is incredibly important to how to make sure customers are set up for success. And so, part of our success in professional services in Salesforce was really to make sure that we're targeting we're building the right skills, and we're targeting the right segment of that. And so we we made sure we had kind of quite senior folk in that team that were not only technical, but could also kind of cover some of the kind of business consulting aspects of what we do. So for example, going in and designing a marketing cloud journey for a customer or customer journey, we would sort of look for people that could both design that journey and align with like a CMO, but then also translate that down to, okay, well, it needs this data, and you might need to integrate this other system, and maybe even start to translate that into the actual product itself. And so, we really focused on that, and then that allowed us to then play a role in the broader kind of Salesforce space that benefited the partner ecosystem as well as Salesforce customer. So something that is very appreciated when you are working as a consultant is that you are capable to do some proactive recommendation to the customer. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think that's become even more important right now with Agentforce as well. Lots of customers are looking to us to work out how to start. And so a big part of that is to kind of offer really proactive advice around, okay, well, there are probably 20 use cases for your business that agents can play a really strong part in. But it's really these 1, 2, or 3 that you should move on now, and start to experiment and learn and gain some leading indicators from. So I think being proactive as a software vendor is incredibly important.
That's interesting. And as you mentioned, I think it's very needed that the company that sells like the software itself is also able to do the recommendation and to work with the customer. I also saw that OpenAI do consulting now.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes. So they sign a partnership with CBA. And basically, so that's interesting to see this pivot that we can see.
Super interesting.
And so Marketing Cloud, and like how, when you run like internally this practice with other leader, how do you evaluate the success of the practice?
So within the professional services business, the Marketing Cloud. I mean, in a professional services business, any professional services business, there's the lagging measures of revenue margin, customer satisfaction, go lives, and then on the the furthest end of that would be kind of customers on stage at Dreamforce, talking about their incredible transformation story.
Yeah.
So they're sort of lagging measures of a successfully run professional services business. And then more leading measures of that would be, the types of people you have in the business, like the kind of skill sets you have, like how certified are they?
Yeah.
Things like utilization, which is really just a leading measure of profitability. And so I think as you're running any business, particularly a professional services business, but like any business, you want to be thinking about what those measures are.
Okay.
And leading and lagging. So you're sort of making sure you're kind of tracking in the right way.
Okay.
And actually, it's kind of back to Agentforce. I think like a lot of customers are sort of asking us like, well, how do we think about whether this agent's been successful or not?
Yeah.
And it's the same concept, right? Like there's the lagging measure of ultimately it's going to impact, the top line of your business, like revenue, or you're going to maybe save some cost by making your workers more productive. But it's really the leading measures you need to design into how you're thinking about like running your agent to make sure that you're measuring them and tracking them and that they're directionally going in the right way.
Okay, that's very interesting. And today, like as VP of Solution Engineering on AI.
Yep.
Does AI mean Agentforce at Salesforce, or it's broader than that?
I mean, AI is broader than that. Salesforce has been innovating in AI for quite a while. With predictive AI that started in our Einstein product, as I'm sure you're aware of.
Yeah.
And more recently, in the last sort of 4 or so years, with generative AI built into our platform, and then Agentforce was released. I think it was October last year into the market, and so that's really our agentic platform that brings everything together, like predictive and generative into these software agents that can also understand natural language and then take action as well.
Does working with Agentforce in your position require that you have knowledge and understanding of Data Cloud?
No, short answer.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think Data Cloud is, for many customers, if I think about many customers that I work with, I would say they have a lot of what I'd call trapped value in unstructured data. So that unstructured data could be PDFs of their product manuals or process documentation, for example. Yeah. And by moving that data into Data Cloud and then allowing Data Cloud to process, understand, and synthesize that unstructured data, they can then start to expose that unstructured content into using semantic search and techniques like RAG into agents, into Agentforce. And then that allows Agentforce to produce these accurate, useful responses to customers. And so do you need to kind of know how Data Cloud works specifically? I would say in many cases not. But I think Data Cloud provides incredibly critical capability to kind of maximize the impact of what agents can do.
Like the multiply it in a way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And also I think like, and I'll just give you an example of that. So Fisher & Paykel is a customer story that we're really proud of. For those that don't know, Fisher & Paykel make high-end home and kitchen appliances. Ovens, fridges, you name it. Huge product catalog. Have been around for a long time. Their CDO Rudy is a real trailblazer customer of ours. And in fact, we spent a lot of time with him in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago with some other CIOs, and he's a great advocate of ours. He was actually so he'd been a long time customer of our predictive AI capabilities in Einstein. And so with Fisher & Paykel, and had seen really good kind of conversion rates. Sorry, not conversion rates. So really good resolution rates on of around sort of 30 to 35% on the online website for the kind of what would be a traditional chatbot experience. But then as we kind of went to market with Agentforce last year, he caught wind of that and got onto the pilot program, and he saw it as this huge opportunity to say, he knew when he looked at it, he was like, I reckon I can double my resolution rates by coupling together all of my product manuals, which are unstructured PDFs, all my knowledge base articles, which are unstructured text. I can kind of bring that together into this new natural language experience on the website, and that's what Fisher & Paykel have done. And so, they got 10,000 knowledge base articles in Data Cloud. They've got all their product manuals and PDFs. And they're now expecting to see close to 70% resolution rates on their website. Which is incredible. So
Yeah, that's very impressive. And also, I think, like from a memory, as someone that set up Agentforce a few times, what I enjoy the most is that you can build like your Agent Force knowledge article feature
Hmm.
without not setting up data cloud, but in fact it's like under the hood that
Yeah,
data cloud will set up.
that's right.
And I think this allow people that are not crazy technical to set up something
That's
that
right.
works perfectly
That's right. Yeah.
without having to deep dive into like the
Yeah.
complexity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this
But
is amazing, I think.
yeah, I think it's great. And then I think, for those more simple use cases, you're absolutely right. You don't need to go too deep into data cloud to get all the benefit of still using it
Yep.
and the capabilities of it. But then equally, for many customers that have more complex architectures, for example, they might have data stored in Snowflake
Okay.
or in Databricks or on Amazon or wherever.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. But that data in those repositories is super valuable in some respect, and in some respect trapped, or there's trapped value in it.
Yeah.
And so Data Cloud allows you to bring to leverage that data without having to move it physically into Data Cloud using one of our features called Zero Copy. And so I think the unstructured piece is an incredible use case of Data Cloud for agents, but also for complex businesses that have data sort of spread around. It allows them to bring that together into a single customer view, to then use that in these agentic experiences with very little effort, which I think is unparalleled. So
yeah, it's a great possibility to be able to leverage like the data that you have in external system.
That's right.
And to push it into something that is capable to interact with your customer in a smart way.
That's right.
I think, okay, so this is quite interesting. Agentforce, like what was the first time you heard about Agentforce? Was it way before it was publicly released? Because it happened like a bubble, like ChatGPT and all of that. It happens really fast. And how did you heard about Agentforce for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I remember the exact sort of time and moment that I remembered about Agentforce, but it was the culmination of a number of innovations from our product teams.
Okay.
Product teams really have increased the velocity and the velocity of their output and the cadence of their output significantly over the last few years.
Okay.
And so kudos to our engineering teams in Salesforce for doing that.
Yeah.
But when we announced it at Dreamforce last year, I think, and a key part of that was to kind of make sure that all of our account executives and solution engineers and other people within the business were deeply familiar with the capabilities of what we were going to be announcing at Dreamforce.
Okay.
And so what we actually did was we just flew everyone into San Francisco.
Yeah.
And so I think about 50 of my team, for example, were there. And we did a whole day, I think it was like 12 hours or maybe it's 10 hours of just hands-on training by our product teams in one room. I've got photos of, literally like 1,000 people in one room.
Yeah.
And that was just like a really, I think, sort of good example of how Salesforce, how fast Salesforce can move and how it can mobilize and move at pace. It's like, okay, well, we've created this amazing product.
Yeah.
We're announcing it at Dreamforce, and we're gonna fly everyone in and get everyone enabled on this in a really meaningful way, not just slides, as in actually hands-on onto platform.
Yeah.
And that happened last year.
Also in terms of culture of the company, I think it's a good proof that okay, we involve everyone and everyone is part of this journey.
That's right.
I think something that I've been impressed about Salesforce over the year, when I started my journey within this ecosystem, is the capability of Salesforce to take action, to change, and to be very startup, like to pivot, basically.
Yeah.
This is very impressive. I think mostly with Data Cloud, we have seen like every feedback, not every, but like the meaningful feedback from the customers are like there is listening, basically.
I think I was at a startup as we just talked about before joining Salesforce, and I think Salesforce moves at a similar pace. It's got this startup like mentality and pace, and I do think a large part of that is is the V2 Mom, actually, which you are probably...
Which one?
V2 Mom, are you familiar with that at all?
No, I'm not.
Okay. It's how we set and execute on strategy in Salesforce.
Okay.
So it's an acronym, V2 Mom, not version 2 of your mom. It's so vision, values, methods, obstacles, and metrics.
Okay.
Very simple. You could have a 5-minute conversation about a V2 Mom with, we could sort of talk about it in the context of you, maybe as an individual, or we use it as a way to set our company strategy each year, and then we refresh it generally quarterly.
Okay.
And so what that does is, Mark Benioff sets that at a CEO level, and then it translates down to every part of the company. So he'll set it, say for argument's sake, on the 1st of February.
Yeah.
And then by the 3rd week of February, every single person in the company has an updated V2 Mom that aligns to Mark's, but is meaningful to their role and their impact on their customers and their company. And I think that's been a huge part of our agility. It governs how we invest. It governs how we make decisions.
Yeah.
It governs what we think, or exposes what we think the obstacles are, and then therefore how we mitigate them.
Yeah.
And it's just a very simple strategic framework that's very effective.
Okay, that's very interesting. So it's basically Mark Benioff, when he do like the V2 Mom, is like setting up like the North Star, and then like everyone will get their own based on their role.
So once you're at an individual contributor level in a specific role, it looks very, I wouldn't say tactical, but like very understandable and very pragmatic. Yeah, that's right, very practical. But then at Mark's level, it might be, at the company level, it might be the number one won't be like significantly investing in Agentforce or something like that. So it's a very effective method, I think.
Wow. And so how did you transition from into like the new role that is dedicated to artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I mean, I was leading different parts of the professional services business, and an amazing leader in our business called Arena Westphalen contacted me and said, look, I've got this opportunity, do you want to apply for it? Blends together all your technical skills, your product skills, and also your experience of actually helping customers do this for real with Salesforce. And so I kind of went for that role, and I got it. I think the part of the business that's is called solution engineering, and I think it's a really interesting title because my team are technical, I am technical, but they're also industry experts, they're AI experts as well. And but equally, it could be called like I think of it as confidence engineering. And when a customer asks me like what do you do? What do your team do? Really, the way I see it is customers are trying to make customers are often trying to make a purchasing decision, or they know they need to make an investment to create new customer experiences, to increase the revenue in their business, to increase the efficiency of their sales team or the customer service team, whatever it is they're doing. And then in order to make that decision, they need to be confident across a number of different dimensions. So they need to be confident in their vision of what they're doing, confident on the value they're going to get from it, confident on the technology, on their ability to be able to deliver it, and confident on the relationship with that vendor. And so really the job of my team and me is to help customers increase their confidence in that buying process. And we do that through empathy, spending time with customers, understanding their business processes, doing demonstrations of our software, helping them understand where the business value can be, design like the kind of leading and lagging metrics. So when a customer's like, okay, well, I think an agent can help me do, be more efficient in my business. We can say, no, I think you're right. Like, and actually specifically let us show you these 2 or 3 agents that are actually going to be quite transformative to your business.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. And I noticed, so before originally you were like in delivery. So how did you end up switching to pre-sale and solution engineering? And what do you like it more?
That's a good question. I think I do. I think I found my home. I think, and I think I found my home because I enjoy having lots of conversations with other humans and customers. And I get to do lots of that. I get to do lots of this, which is also fun. And kind of hone my craft of communicating, which I enjoy. I get to spend a lot of time thinking, talking, and working out how new technology like Agentforce can help customers transform their businesses and their customer experience and their employee experience. And so the product and the technology side and the blend with business is kind of perfect for me. I love working with the sales teams as well, because you
Okay.
kind of get the energy of a sales business.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think I'm in the perfect role.
Yeah.
At the perfect time. It's a
Well,
great time to be in the industry. So.
That's very interesting. It seems very fun. And so when do you build your team? Because you are building like the solution pre-sales solution engineer in AI at Salesforce. How do you pick like people that are joining the team?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think the hiring profile does depend on what you're trying to build specifically in that team, because you often, with the way we think about it, is like what's the capability we're trying to build in the team, and then what kind of hiring profile do we need to kind of fit that capability. But right now in many of the teams, what we're looking for are people that can be kind of quite hands-on with AI and Agentforce, and help customers bring their vision to life on the platform. So like kind of hands-on, building agents, configuring agents, using Data Cloud, as you mentioned before. But also solution engineers that are fantastic with humans, good communicators, empathy, really passionate about helping a customer kind of do what they need to do. Build trust as well, because back to that kind of confidence building, like our job is to get a customer to a level of confidence where they can make a decision, that whether that decision is to kind of move ahead or not, but like a large part of that is trust. So we're looking for people that can build trust, that are technical, that understand business, that are adaptable, because everything's changing quite fast right now. So it's a kind of a unicorn, but
it's very interesting because when I was younger, I was thinking like when you do a job, you do one function. But like in this type of solution engineer consultant role, in fact, like you have a range of, you are like a developer or like a technical person, a salesperson.
That's right.
Like there is so many aspects that makes the role very entertaining.
That's right. And I think, I mean, for some people that might be stressful, right? And I think someone said to me a while ago, they're like, any job or company is almost full of like, problems to solve. And what you really want to do is make sure that the problems that you're solving every day and every week give you energy and don't take it away. And I think it's the same, with a complex role like consulting or solution engineering. That breadth of role is really, really exciting. The kind of adaptability you need to have is really exciting. Just make sure that you kind of you really want that kind of,
life.
That life. And it's amazing. Like I love it.
It seems very fascinating. I think we are about to get at the hour.
Okay, cool, great.
But it was such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Arthur. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks.
See you.